Thank you very much, and good afternoon to everyone. Thank you for choosing North Macedonia for the conference. At this panel, I am surrounded by people who know, understand, and shape the big picture, as you said in the beginning. So I will stick to a job description of a minister of a relatively small country that needs to understand the big picture, sometimes adjust to the big picture, and try to translate the big picture back home, while in the same time positioning the country in a favorable light within the big picture. So I will try to just go through some of the issues that present the new, or maybe the old new picture, a big picture, by putting the emphasis on North Macedonia and the region more as a whole. The big picture has been defined by the return of great powers competition. Probably we have had a short break of it. Otherwise, the history of our race is actually a history of great power competition. Some would say then a rise of illiberal tendencies, not only in this region, but especially in the so-called West. I would say that now we see more the rise of polarization and not just the rise of illiberal tendencies. And then add to this climate change, energy, especially the present crisis that will affect our life, our politics, our decision-making, and our business opportunity. And also the domain of cyber or ever-changing technology, which is probably, as they say, the last lawless realm. And this is true very much, and this is influencing especially our political environment. I do believe that all these tendencies, all these issues that represent the big picture are accelerating. They're not new, but they're dramatically accelerating. And the real challenge is that what we see as institutional response, institutional reaction to these challenges is becoming slower, or at least it seems slower because of the very high rate of change in all these domains. I do believe that geopolitics has never left the Balkans. So sometimes it has dressed as nationalism, but it has been a standard practically throughout our history, and it has been an element that we had to put in our equation whenever we had important decision-making to do. But when we are talking about the Western Balkans, we have spoken a lot about the EU summit. I actually would like to talk about what if, because very often when we try to advocate for quicker decisions, more reliable EU policy vis-à-vis the Balkans, we are being told that some of the last enlargement processes are now a big, heavy burden on our shoulders because some of the former member states are not really thrilled about the results of the enlargement. And I can see the value and I can see the arguments, especially with some developments in certain countries. But let us just pause for a few minutes and imagine the geopolitical outlook for Europe, but without the two big last enlargements. I'm taking out Croatia, it's just one country. But let us imagine the geopolitical outlook, the geopolitical challenges of the EU if certain decision makers 20 years ago were not bold enough to move forward. And I think that this is also a reminder for many of the present European leaders that, especially in the times when geopolitics kicks back, it's important to take into account these elements. I do believe that one of the lessons of the former Yugoslavia collapse was that security really becomes a challenge when you mishandle or misread the geopolitical reality. And I think that we don't have the luxury to misread or mishandle the geopolitical reality. I have been reminded of a quote by the French President Macron, he was mentioned several times this morning, who said that if Europe can't think of itself as a global power, it will disappear because it will take a hard knock. More or less this is what Vice President of the Commission Borrell meant when it said that EU has to choose whether it is a player or a playground. And we fully endorse these views. The question is, how is the EU tackling this challenge or this dilemma when deciding upon the Western Balkans? I have heard your comments specifically about if Europe wants to be taken seriously as a global player, it has to look into the decisions that are waiting for it at its doorstep. And I definitely agree with this. The Balkan was always, in a way, the lackmus test for Europe's drive, European power, and its ambition. And I think that this is the time to, again, show European drive, ambition, and power. If the EU summit that happened a few days ago took place in 2018, I think it would have been a great success even in our own countries. But 2 years afterwards, too late. The same messages echo in a different manner. They echo as void promises, and the reliability of the EU is really challenged. I have to say that we were aware that EU will not be enthusiastic about enlargement from 2017 when we started this. But we were not in expectation mode. In the meantime, we have worked really hard. The Prespa agreement, the agreement with Bulgaria, decision-making within North Macedonia, policies such as transparency, freedom of media, all these important issues were done because we took our work seriously. And I have to say that we have almost over-delivered. Our NATO membership that took place last year gave us a bit of a breathing space. But for North Macedonia, it was always the dual goal, NATO and EU. And I have to say that now when we hear the developments to our north and some of the high tones between Kosovo and Serbia, yes, of course, we see how important our NATO membership was, because there is no single citizen or business in North Macedonia that looks at these developments with the fear of spillover. Of course, we are worried. We want our neighborhood to prosper. We want to have stable neighbors, but it doesn't have a direct effect over our business decisions nor on our everyday life. So I do believe, I have seen the title, Promoting Europe's Inclusiveness and Solidarity. I have to be frank. During the COVID crisis, after the COVID crisis, we have seen European solidarity in action. Yes, there was a delay. There was some frustration about the delay. But the support that we have received on many grounds was really significant. I believe that the delay just decreased the leverage that the EU normally has in abundance. But what I think is missing is the inclusiveness part. And I think that this is actually hitting the very core of EU leverage and EU reliability throughout the region. Finally, let me say that I feel the sense of urgency, because the message that was sent to Tirana and Skopje was a message that was received throughout the region, in Belgrade, in Pristina, in Sarajevo, in Podgorica. And this message was a message, don't speed up your reforms, because we won't deliver even in case you overachieve. But I have seen how sometimes issues that are not dealt with become really frozen conflicts. In 2008, when we missed the opportunity to enter NATO, everyone thought, I think in Greece and in North Macedonia, that the issue will have to be solved. 5, 6 months, that's it. We wasted 10 great years. We wasted an opportunity that has never returned to us. So this is why I believe that our security context is different, but that the EU is fighting for, its strength and its reliability, first and foremost in the Balkans. What history has taught us in the Balkans, apart from the fact that we have been a bad history student, was that human rights, rule of law, prosperity and equality don't really thrive well in political vacuums. And this is why we have to prevent the creation of such a political vacuum. Thank you very much.